Remember summer nights at the school gates, listening to old school tapes till it was too late. Before I had to pack my suitcase to mill place. Yeah, it's a shame they're gone. Full of pros, but mainly cons. I couldn't name them songs. We used to picture them the same as Dawn.
Well, if I would be lying if I didn't tell you that money was a big reason for that. I mean, we're prize fighters, you know, our success is determined by the size of our purses. And purses in bare knuckle are a lot bigger for me than they were in the UFC. That's why I left.
Remember the day them two older heads came along? My father said in groups of two.
That's the reason I remained in the UFC. You know, I was expecting bigger purses in the summer already. You know, I was in talks with bare knuckle at the time, and I was getting ready to pretty much leave. You know, I was like, look, you know, what else am I gonna do here? There's bigger opportunities here, so that's why I was planning to go. But of course, Zubaira was the fight that I really wanted, and that's the reason I stayed. You know, that was the fight that was promised to me in October, but then things worked out the way they did, and I understood that he was no longer a possibility for at least a year. So here I am now.
Get the brains and brawn. The brawn is the strength, but the brains are strong.
Yeah, I mean, that was the reason why I asked for my release, because I saw the offers were there. The offers were on the table, and I wasn't even released yet. I didn't even mention to anybody that I have an opportunity to fight elsewhere. So I was thinking, well, when I announce that I'm officially a free agent, the offers are going to be piling in, and that's exactly what happened. You know, I'm still in talks now to potentially fight MMA at some point in the year. And the offers are very, very good. And now that I'm also able to do bare knuckle and I'm also able to do boxing, I can bounce them off each other, and they just get bigger, bigger, and bigger. Those are just great news for me to see.
Included the brawn was the man with the screwed face. The brain showed no mood in a fugue state.
I mean, it's no secret that I wanted to go into boxing for a long time. You know, I tried to get a boxing license about 4 or 5 years ago. At the time, I was told by the Irish Boxing Association that I couldn't do MMA if I went boxing. So that was a deal breaker for me at the time. I said no, and I remained in MMA. Now the situation has changed. After, you know, Conor fought Mayweather, of course, it is a known fact now that you can do both sports at the same time, and that's exactly, you know, why I was excited to try bare knuckle. You know, I'm not solely committing to just bare knuckle now. I can do other things, and like I said, I wanted to do boxing for a long time. Why wouldn't you? You see me, I walk through head kicks. So what is somebody going to do with just hands? You know, they have no chance of hurting me. I've got crazy amount of power. I've proven that on the Ultimate Fighter, knockout after knockout after knockout. So it's a no-brainer for me. You know, you go in, hands are strong, chin is strong. That's it. No takedowns, none of this cuddling on the floor. Let's see some real fights.
They pulled the kid out his house in his nude on what we view, made a few faint. They mutilated his face.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it is for other people, but for me, I actually feel so excited to do it now. You know, before every MMA fight, you always have that worry, okay, if I get taken down, I have to, you know, work my way up, that's what I'm gonna do. And even striking, you know, I can't fully show my potential because I know that there is the clinch, there is a risk of a takedown, so I have to behave in a certain way. Now, all of this has gone out the window. You know, I'm literally walking into this fight a free man. That's how I feel. I'm free. I have nothing to fear. You know, shots, they don't bother me. There are no takedowns. There's nothing else. There's just me knocking him out. And I can't wait to serve his broken jaw on a plate to someone. So
wrong. I've seen a couple of similar situations, Don. It taught me life, not utilize. Well, that's a truth.
Yeah, in terms of the forearms, that's actually another thing that serves as an advantage to me, because I will be well used to the clinch, because MMA gloves are just as small as bare knuckle, basically, you know, so that gives you a little bit of a protection. If anything, maybe the glove even allows you to throw maybe harder, because there's less risk of breaking your hand. Whereas bare knuckle, you have to be a little bit careful. You break your hand, you know, it's a huge setback, because in a fight you can only use your hand. So if one of your hands is broken, not that has ever stopped me before. You know, I broke both of my hands in fights before, and that never really bothered me. But still, it is something to take note, because it does affect other people. So when I'm fighting, I have to, you know, obviously take that into consideration. If he connects with top of my head, chances are his hand is broken. So yeah, it's good. It's interesting. It's a new thing to worry about. It's a new game to break down, and it's an exciting game. So.
And I was wearing in pain, the bond was something somewhere way beyond.
Yeah, I call it the night Jason night. You know, it's game over for him. I've been dying to get these grapplers, wrestlers into a boxing ring, but I honestly thought that was not a possibility. I thought they were just in my dreams, you know, and dreams do become reality, as they say, and they sure do. Like, what is he gonna do now? He used to be a top 10 fighter in the UFC, and rightfully so, but that's because he uses his martial arts, mixed martial arts, really well. You know, he combines the striking with a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of grappling. If he gets taken down, he's very active off his back with rubber guard. But now you take all that away and you just have boxing. He's a very, very average fighter, and I'm gonna go through him very easy. You know, I say to everybody, this is your preview for the Paulie Malignaggi fight. And many people tell me, oh, look, don't look ahead and all this. Well, what do you mean don't look ahead? Of course you have to plan ahead. Otherwise you end up in Brexit situation and you go from Theresa May to Theresa May B to Theresa not a chance. So I am preparing for Paulie Malignaggi. Later in the year, I'm gonna go through him. And April 6th, you get a chance to get a little preview. So tune in and don't miss it.
When the sun's low, the streets glow. Fluorescent noise from police sirens, massage parlors and peep shows.
Absolutely, you know, and to me, you know, everybody say, oh, he's a boxer, you know, and you're going to box him as... Trust me, it's going to be a walkout. He's 38 years old now. He's old and fat. You know what I mean? He hasn't been training. He hasn't lived a good life. Many people give me as example Mayweather. Oh, look what he is still able at 40. But Paulie Malignaggi didn't live the same lifestyle as Mayweather did. You know, he is broke. That's the only reason he's doing this fight now. Do you think at 38 years of age, after being out of the ring for so many years, he wants to come back? Of course not, but he needs the money. And the further proof to that is the fact that he is on fucking ESPN or wherever he is commentating week after week. He wouldn't be doing that, you know, if he had the money, but he doesn't, and that's why he's coming back. So it's not going to look good for him, you know. He's old and he'll be on the canvas very quickly.
Cause the life's law when talk's cheap, so keep your eyes wide open and keep your beak closed.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at his record closely, not just at the numbers, you know, but actually who are the people that he fought. His real record is 5 wins and 8 losses. You know, that is his real record of the real fights. So there's nothing special there. I mean, I don't understand why they do this. A boxing game itself needs a huge change. I mean, and if you don't believe me, go and interview just, you know, regular boxers, professional boxers. These are professional athletes that train every day. They take this seriously. And what do they have to do? They have to go out there and sell tickets. Why do they have to sell tickets? They sell tickets in order to pay for the traveling fighter, the fighter that they're going to be brought over here for them to beat. So that's what they're doing now. You have to spend 5 years of your life selling tickets so you can build your record. Clearly that's not right. Clearly professional athletes shouldn't be salesmen. So a big change is needed. I want to see putting of the records gone completely. There is no need for it. There's amateur game, that's where you get your experience. Once you make it into the pro ranks, start fighting, start doing competitive fights. And even in relation to the fans, I mean, you're lying to fans. You're charging people ticket prices for fake fights. They're not real fights. The outcome of the fight is already predetermined beforehand. Would you be happy if I asked you to pay 50 euros for U2 ticket and they were lip syncing? No, you wouldn't. The same situation happens here. And I've been very vocal about this throughout my whole career. And for some reason, the fans aren't backing me up on this, but they should be. They're the ones getting lied to. I'm the one, you know, speaking up for them. I want them to see real fights. You know, there's been so many times where I would, you know, have an absolute war of a fight with some animal that nobody wanted to fight, and I win, let's say, by decision. And I'm there, you know, blood pouring, my hand is broke, I'm holding this 200 quid in my hand that I got paid for this fight, and everybody is over there with some guy that had a parried record guy in with him, and he bet him in 15 seconds. They're like, oh, did you see his win? That was great. Oh yeah, your fight was good, man, no problem. But that was the real fucking prospect. And I'm standing there listening to all this, all bloated up, all broke up, thinking, no, this motherfucker didn't fight a real fight. That was a fake fight, not a real fight. But yet everybody congratulating him. So of course, that was always, I was always getting really pissed off with that, because that's not what happens on paper. Everybody says, oh, I want to be the best in the world. I want to fight the best in the world. But for some reason, I was the only one actually doing it.
Close. It's where I grew up. It's where I learned how to be a man. It's where I'm constantly in beast mode.
Yeah, listen, it was a one-sided spar. He was absolutely pounded out. His face was absolutely smashed. His face was big red like a tomato. To be honest, it was so smashed it looked like fucking ketchup. Fucking Heinz are trying to sue us now, I've heard. So there was nothing else to talk about there. He was absolutely destroyed in that spar. He did not land anything. He was terrified of letting his right hand go. He did a bit of work with his jab. and it was shit. That's it.
Forgive me if I seem cold or don't trust much around here. Ain't nothing but wolves dressed.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the main thing as well now, that's one of the things that I really missed. You know, back in the day, I used to wake up every day and I'd open my phone quick, see what offers are coming in, because I was always on the lookout for offers. I would text fighters, I would message promoters, I would message matchmakers, give me the hardest fights. Whoever are the guys that nobody wants to fight, you know where to go. And that's what always was happening. I'd open my phone and I see these offers and I get excited. I feel alive. And that's exactly how I feel now again. I feel alive. I feel that there's fights out there for me. I can call out anybody. I can fight anybody, I can fight anywhere. You know, I'm ready to take these fights on short notice. If that happens, I'm just ready to go. I am alive.
Wolves dressed in sheep's clothes.